Hey everybody, this is the briefcase. Thank you, fam, for tuning in. We are live and we are loving the fact that you tuned in with us. Um, it is all of us again, and we have a special guest today. Uh, we welcome Dr. Sims, who is fam. He's actually presented with us in the past before under a different title, but we're going to be talking about should women pursue men, and he's going to break this thing down for us. We're going to help them break it down to everybody tuning in for fun purposes. Make sure that you tune in and ask questions. Make sure you let us know how you enjoy this show. If you have any questions or concerns, we're here to talk about it, break it down, and be adults about everything. But also, at the end of the day, we want to learn. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start with the introductions, and then we'll just go ahead and go from there. So ladies first. I want to be a gentleman today.
Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Renelle Nelson, or our sex therapist. What are we saying today? Are we really, what's the plan? Because, we can go all
in. Just keep it short and brief. They know you.
Oh, okay. Y'all know me. Hey, y'all, it's Renelle.
And I am Chastity Chandler, relationship and sex therapist, helping people boss up from the boardroom to the bedroom.
What's good, everybody? This is Boris Chestnut, representing from the Dallas, Texas, also a sex therapist. Missed y'all. Glad that we have y'all back, and let's get this live and popping.
Hold on, we gotta let Dr. Sims introduce himself. I mean, he the special guest today.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Sims, neuropsychologist.
What are we saying today?
Uh-oh. Got a little feedback.
Hold on, we gotta let Dr. Sims. Oh, got it. I figured it out.
We're good.
All right. Yes, Dr. Sims, neuropsychologist, biologist, body language, counselor, just all kind of just different things.
That's right.
I'm excited.
I am too. Remember last time he blew our mind about the testosterone exchange when kissing, which, would have been right on time for yesterday. But, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday was National Kiss Day, right?
Mm-hmm. International Kissing Day.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, too. I was like, I was supposed to be
live somewhere.
I was like, hey, wait a minute.
That's your day.
I think it's so good. I think it's so good. If we can just get a snippet. Do y'all mind if we can just get a snippet of what we're talking about so they can just know what we're talking about?
Yeah. So what's the topic today, Dr. Sims?
A snippet of the kissing?
No. Oh, yeah, we kissing today?
Oh, no.
Run that back.
Well, what was the snippet? I mean, what were you asking?
No, I was like saying it was so good. I would love for us to just let the audience know what we're talking about. If you can just, once you get done with everything, I hope we can just put that into this platform because I think it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got the whole.
What you got the whole tape,
though. I mean, so we can edit it and put it on there for sure.
Okay.
So what we're talking about today, Dr. Sims, every time you speak to us, anytime I've been on a platform with you, I've learned something new, both about myself, about my profession, about sex, love, and relationships. So I just can't wait for you to tell us why women can pursue men. And then like the science behind it, because I got to hear the science behind it. I ain't too proud though, I go after what I want, but I love to hear the science behind it.
Yeah, because we hear a lot about, we shouldn't pursue, let the man, be the one to be the chaser and everything. And I definitely understand. I get it. I understand what they mean. But what we do have to understand is that women make the first move anyway, actually. We just aren't aware of it. We're just not mindful of it, right? Because we got to think about just how the laws of nature is created. And it's created for both of us to actually make the first move. The woman can make the first move. The man can make the first move. The only thing about for women making the first move is that it has to be subtle. It doesn't have to be aggressive like a man, but it just has to be subtle, because women think I can't make the first move. I shouldn't make the first move, but you can make this first move. It just has to be subtle. Us men don't mind you making the first move as long as it's subtle, but you just can't make the first move as aggressive as we make the first move, right? And it's natural, but this is just by the laws of nature. This isn't really something me telling you what and how you should do it. This is just how we are hardwired. You know, there's something that we all have, the pursuit spot, the sexual dimorphic nucleus of the preoptic area of the brain. That area is our pursuit spot. And so when we realize that,
where that's at? Show me where that's at, because I need to know when I need to turn it on and when I need to turn it off.
and you know what? That's so cool to say, you know, because once you know you have it, you realize that it's okay to use it. And some of my arguments with other scientists is this, you know, they feel like a woman should not make a move at all. She should just stand there and hope that he notices her, right? The thing is that he may not notice you. You know, the thing is make yourself available, make yourself known, make yourself visible, right? So even if it means walking in front of him and just see if he happens to look, right? Just see if he's happen to say, whoa, who is that? Wow. You know, that's you making a move in a subtle way, right? And the sexual dimorphic nucleus in a male's brain is large. In a woman's brain is small. Now, this is the thing, though. Because hers is small, because his is large, is because he is the chaser.
I like his to be large, though.
Yeah, and his and his probably is the large too as well. So the reason why his is large is because, you know, he is the person who's going to chase. He's the chase, right? The reason why hers is small is so she can use hers in a subtle way. But this is the argument. What people don't really understand is that the male has the sexual dimorphic nucleus, and the woman has the sexual dimorphic nucleus. If she has it, does that mean she can't use it? Mm-hmm. Just he can only use his, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's there for a reason, and it's there to use. It's just there to use in a subtle way. Because the male is aggressive, that's why his is bigger, right? So he's going to be the one that's going to come on to you aggressively. But there's so many tools and so many tips that the woman has that she used by the laws of nature. I mean, these are the same tools that's given to her by the laws of nature that she can use by her look, by her walk, by just the way she rubs her hair, right? She's sending off signals. And just think about this. When you think you can't make the first move, the minute you get on a dating site, you're making a move. You're making a move when you go on a dating site because you're saying, hey, I'm looking for a guy, right? The minute you fix yourself up, you put the makeup on, you put the lipstick on, you put the nice dress on. And I know we've heard the comment about, oh, well, you know, she's dressing for another woman, you know, but in reality, when it comes to biology, she's really dressing for that male, right? Because that's her brand. She's marketing herself, right? So when she's going to that club, she's marketing it. That's making a move. You're making a move. When you go to the club, you're making a move. When you walk in that door, you're making a move, right? But where's this thing where we can't make a move? Women can't make a move because us men, we tell you to suppress it, right? We hear things about, well, you shouldn't come on to a guy. But see, what we don't tell women is that you can come on to a guy, just do it subtle. right? You don't have to be aggressive like a guy, right? There's many ways, you know, bringing up some kind of conversation about if you're in the store, wow, these prices are really high, huh? And then if this guy is interested, he's going to go ahead and he's going to start talking to you, right?
And his response depends on whether the conversation continues or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If he's interested, he'll respond, you know, but if he's not, he's not. And that's cool. You just go ahead and move on, you know, but it is okay. It's okay. And look, one of the things that we have to realize, we can't just leave it straight up to men. We just can't leave it all up to men to be the aggressor, to be the one to come on. Let's think about God. Those of you who believe in God. God is an entrepreneur. And his business is to generate babies, to generate humans. We are entrepreneurs.
Are you saying God a pimp?
Oh my God.
Hey,
You know,
he in business.
pimping for Jesus.
We quickly go left.
I wasn't the only one thinking it. I was just the only one that said it.
Hey,
I thought he was gonna say I guess sex. Okay. Come through. I'm open now. I'm listening.
yes, he said it. But
It makes sense.
he is in business. That's his business, right? But guess what? And Chastity, you might agree with this. We work for him. Yes, we do. We work
hard for him.
Because and why do we work for him? What do we do? What do we do? What are some of the things that we do? What's our job description? What is our job description? What do we do? Look, 360,000 people are born every day. 151 die each day. God gets a profit of 209,000 out of that 360 because of those people who are dying. But he brings 360 out of the 150,000, right? So we got to look at it like in a restaurant that is marketing. You see a restaurant on television every day. You see the same restaurant marketing its commercial every day. You see that commercial and you go, okay, I get it. Okay, you sell hamburgers, you sell French fries. Okay, you know, I get it. But what we don't realize is that corporation is saying there's 151 people who die every day. Those are our customers, right? So we have to keep showing commercials for those 360 newborns, right? In order to keep our company going, we have to show a commercial every day, every year. I don't care how many times people have seen it. So that's the same thing. So women, every time you walk past a man, we're watching one of God's commercials.
Oh, okay.
Say that one more time. That's a sound bite right there. Say that again.
Every time a woman walks past a man, we're watching one of God's commercials. Because, hey, now, what do we do? I'm talking to a man. What do we do? That woman walks by us. If she's hot, there you go.
Oh shit! You saw that?
Oh, shit. Just like the commercial, when we see the commercial, we see the juicy hamburger. We like, right? We like, oh man, I want that hamburger, right? Yeah. Right? So the same thing when we see that woman walk by, we see in one of God's commercials, and we go, whoa, damn, we hit each other, dude, look, did you see that, man? Right? Because we checking her out. That's one of God's commercials because he know you put on that dress. You put them lipstick on those big juicy lips, right? You fix up your hair. And guess what? Whenever a woman walks past a man, biologically and psychologically, her walks change. Do you know that? Her walks change. The emphasis on the hips. The emphasis on the hips to a woman, she walks like that. When she walks past a male, her emphasis will be even more. She will walk even more because she's advertising. She's advertising no different than a male. When us males if you ever see males, when a male has a nice tight t-shirt on, nice shirt or whatever,
I gotta be tight.
You know, we got advertised too.
we advertise too. He sticks his chest out. Think about the things we buy. Us
Right.
men, we are not really buying that Porsche to impress another dude.
You might be though. You might be, because we are all inclusive here at the Briefcase.
Well,
so
if
I'm just saying.
yes, absolutely. But if you're straight or gay, right? Then if you're gay, then you're trying to turn on another dude. But if you're straight, right? You're buying your stuff to try to market. That's part of your market strategy, right? You buy the earrings, the nice clothes, the suits,
See,
the hat.
normally that's an overcompensation though. You know what I'm saying? Normally.
Yeah. I mean, just the way we dress, period. We think about how sexy do I look or how handsome do I look. We think about how we cut our hair, how we put our hair, right? Whether even if it's just how natural do I look, and do I look good just natural without putting lipstick on, right? It's still part of our brand. It's still part of how do I sell myself? How do I don't want Chastity go to the.
You the one with the dipping, Doc. You the one. It's above my pay grade. I ain't say none of this stuff. Just disclaimer.
But how do I sell myself? What do I do? What are the certain things that I do? But think about it. It's all God. It's all about how He's trying to keep us attracted to each other and keep us coming after each other and coming together.
I have a question. Does it turn off? Does it turn off like when you get in a relationship? Does that natural does something click in your head? Does the walk change once you have a ring on, or are you going to commit a relationship? Because I know you're really into chemicals and body, how stuff work. Does that switch off?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In times that definitely shuts off. And the two things that we have to be mindful to. When we meet somebody, was it just biology? Was it just because I was interested in that person's symmetry, the face, the golden ratio, the body? Was it that I was just interested in that, right? Because eventually it's going to wear off, right? And if it's not about that person, if it's not about that intellect, right? About what you really like about this person. Yeah, all of this is cool, but I always tell women, you're the chooser, not the chosen, right? You're the employer. Us men, we're interested in trying to get the job. So it's all about, if you're doing your interview, to be hired, then you have to make sure that person, have the necessary requirements to work at your business, right? Because you're the employer. And the bottom line is, I ask when I'm speaking in big audiences, and I ask women, how is it that you got married? And they say, he asked me. But no, that's not how you got married. You got married because you said yes, because the power lies in the woman's hands to say yes or no. You're the employer. Us men, we're trying to find that job. We're interested in trying to get the job, right?
Right.
So it's important to understand. So yes, eventually that could die out if that's all you're interested in. Look, people go on top of the mountain with the parachute and they jump off that mountain. Just before they jump, they receive dopamine, anticipation drug, because they know what they're about to do, right? So that dopamine is going in them and they're hyper. They're like, yeah. We're about to jump. As soon as you jump, and as soon as you make it to the bottom, you get this rush of serotonin. So the serotonin is what makes you feel good to make you want to go up there and do it again, right? What happens the more you do it? The more you jump, what starts to happen? It's
Get
not,
used to it. Yeah. It lessens. There's
right?
no anticipation. There's no anticipation.
So I have a
No
question. I have a
anticipation
question.
anymore.
So I'm divorced. That's not a secret. I wrote a whole
Yeah.
book about it. But y'all get that, sex after divorce. But anyways, when I was married, dudes would try to holler at me, and it's almost like the ring was a more of an attractant. So I know you said when you're
Yeah.
married, it turns off. Is there something in the brains of other people when they see a ring, it just turns on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want what somebody else has. We're attracted to, we're
What we
attracted
can't
to
have?
we're attracted to pregnant women too.
I know somebody who was. I know somebody who was. They had a thing for pregnant women since they was young.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it is a thing. Now, what that turn off? What can we do for that turn off though? That turn off, if it's natural, that we like each other for who we are and not just the symmetry or the golden ratio, right? Then we have to put novelty into the relationship. That's how we save the relationship. We have to do something new, different into the relationship, because we get in the comfort zone where we're doing the exact same thing over and over again. Nothing's fun in this relationship.
Yeah.
Nothing's fun. I know you're going to come home, you're going to get your beer, your wine, your liquor, whatever, or not. You're going to grab your remote control. You're going to grab the game remote control. You're going to play for about 2 hours to 3 hours. We eat, and then we're going to go to bed. We might do something, we might not. And then you wake up at 7 o'clock and do it all over again. All over again. Where's the fun? There's no novelty.
Y'all better get y'all a little black bag.
Absolutely.
But this is the main thing, right, Chassie? This is the main thing we see as a couples therapist. This is what everybody come in at, because they come in for loss of desire. They don't like each other anymore, and we have to educate them on the patterns, how you can revive it. Because I deal so much with infidelity. That's my niche. I deal a lot with infidelity, and a lot of it is trying to get that excitement back, that dopamine back.
That's right.
And they just want to take that jump again. But again, I let them know that also plateaus.
That's right.
We can revive the relationship. So I thank you for that, because I think that's a good educational piece that people are misunderstanding. They feel like they're supposed to have this love anxiety all through their relationship, and when it matures, they feel like it's over, and it's not over. It's just mature. And so many people, immaturity and not lack of self-intimacy, make them go out.
That's right. Absolutely. 100%. And you know what? You said something too. When they get bored of jumping off that mountain, they want to go look for another mountain.
Yeah.
Hello.
And out of that couple, one of you may go out looking for another mountain.
If not both of y'all.
If not both of you. You just don't know it, right? If not both of you. You're so right. Absolutely.
Question time.
But
because you're going to look for novelty. You're going out to look for happiness and fun and somebody to tell you, baby, you're beautiful.
But this is another thing.
Right? We don't even get that. Affirmations.
Yeah, Renelle said, I know you want to get to the question, Boris. We're going to get to the question.
Sure,
but Renelle said a key word, supposed to be. And see, my motto is you have the power to create and cultivate the relationship that you desire. I think too many people are trying to do what they think they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And then they're going to be just like their grandparents and their great-grandparents and their sister, the auntie, everybody that's miserably married around them. Right? Because people look at quantity as quality now when they're looking at a relationship. So they've been married for 40, 30, 50 years. So that's your relationship goals. Meanwhile, they've been sleeping in 2 separate rooms, had sex in over a decade, and can barely stand to look at each other. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's supposed to be thing. You know, I challenge that in my therapy sessions. When somebody say I'm supposed to be doing this, who says that you're supposed to be doing this?
That's right.
So I think getting out of that supposed to be and then really embracing what you truly want, need, and desire will bring about happiness in your relationship. All right, Boris, go ahead with the question.
That's right. and that's why it's so important to understand your non-negotiables, your needs and your wants. That's why it's so important to have that conversation and to be honest with that conversation. Because when you do have that conversation, honor it. Because sometimes we say yes just so we can get that certain person, right? We say yes just so we could, it's sort of like a setup, right? You need to honor that conversation, right? You have to honor that conversation, because if you're going to be honest and say, look, this is what I want, this is what makes me feel good. And back to what you're saying, Chastity, not what my grandmother said we should be doing, right? I'm telling you what makes me feel good, right? And then what happens? You end up finding this vitalized, harmonious, cohesive working relationship, this conversation of realizing that now we've discovered what we both like and what we're going to do to make sure that we honor it and that we implement it, right? And that it is ours, Chastity, not what our grandmother is telling us what we should do and not what we should do. It's ours. It's what we created.
My grandma wasn't like everybody else's grandma, though. My grandma was lit. So my grandma be proud of the things that I'm doing nowadays. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's go to this question real quick.
This is from Cliff Stewart. My experience is when a woman sees you with a nice looking woman is when they really want to make a move. Why is that?
He just did.
But I'm just, well, I mean, that was it by that time. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's it too, because they see you with, and they're like, wow. And you know, because it's a lot of us, you know, even, I mean, you've heard actors who have said women didn't even want me, right? Until, you know, now they look good, they got the money, they fix themselves up and stuff like that. But even if it's not that situation, even if it's not a money situation, right? You know, we've seen many people to say, wow, how did he get her? Or how did she get him? Right? And we're interested now. You know, you weren't interested in me now, but now you see homegirl next to me, you know, you're like, man, he must have something. He's got something going on, you know.
Yeah, he got skills.
He's got
what
skills.
Part of the brain is that, doctor? What part of the brain? I'm so interested in the brain. Is that just society, or is it something in our brain?
Well, that's part of society too, as well. But it's also part of it's also part of our amygdala. It's also part of the part of our brain that protects us, the part of our brain that gives us that want and that need too. And for instance, in the primitive time, women went for the male who had the bigger stick, S-T-I-C-K.
We still do that.
Right? So that's the safety part of the brain. For instance, how many women voted for Donald Trump? You know, a lot. And some black women voted for Donald Trump, and they're not going to say it. But why? Because he came across as powerful, and I'm going to save you. I'm going to protect you. Because a woman wants to be around, she wants to feel what?
Protected and safe and loved.
She wants to feel safe and protected. And guess what? When we also say safe and protected, guess what else that means? Not just her, but it also means I want to make sure that you can protect my offspring.
My babies.
That's what a woman is really concerned about, is can you protect my offspring? Every living, breathing creature on this earth thinks about that. I saw a National Geographic video about a bear, and she was the same way. We see it all the time. Lions, right? The tough lion that comes in, he fights the lion who's already the king, of the other women. And whoever wins, that lion says, okay, come on, you come with me. Do they follow him? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they do. They follow him because they feel protected with him because he beat out the king.
So
Yeah.
that's
So it's about being protected because, you know, our brain, our amygdala is working 24 hours a day. Our amygdala is always looking for danger. It's always looking for danger. When you walk on the edge of the building, what's the first thing that happens? It pulls you back because it doesn't want you to get hurt. So it's always looking for danger. You notice when we're asleep, we hear a noise, we wake up, right? Because our subconscious never goes to sleep. So our subconscious wakes up our amygdala, and our amygdala wakes up our prefrontal cortex, and our prefrontal cortex says, hey, what was that? The prefrontal cortex goes, hey, what was that? You know, when you hear, just say you're in a crowd, you hear a loud noise. What we do is freeze first. We freeze like this for a split second because our prefrontal cortex is saying, what is that? So our prefrontal cortex says, that was a gun. Our amygdala says, we need to run because, you know, your amygdala is what we all hear, fight or flight, right? Do we stay to fight the person or do we run? Right? So those are the brain regions as well. And I could get deeper into more brain regions too.
I know. And can you tell us how trauma can mess that up for us also, right?
Absolutely.
Trauma in relationships, trauma can kind of throw that off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's how we become post-traumatic stress disorder through the trauma. And that can keep triggering our amygdala. So the problem is that the amygdala stays on. And that's what the problem is that the amygdala stays on and doesn't cut off. So our sympathetic nervous system is constantly working and our paraneural nervous system is no longer on. So, but our sympathetic nervous system, once that cuts on, it's doing damage. Okay, it's doing good for us when we need it for real purposes, right? Because it's a fire. But when it's constantly on, it's constantly running, that means our body is constantly receiving glucose cortisol, and that's going through our blood system, right? Adrenaline, right? Yeah. And we don't need that. Our digestive system stops, right? Because we don't need that, right? The sugar is being pushed in through our veins and also borrowed from other parts of our brain. It even takes from our memory part of our brain, which is our hippocampus. So it even takes it from that, right? So it's doing damage to our body because that amygdala is still on. It's constantly on, but we need to shut it off, right?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. I love that because that just goes with breakups, betrayal, everything. Well, we got another question, Boris.
It was just a general question. What are other qualities that attract you to your partner? And that's something that's basically a question to the audience, to the viewers, for them to chime in. But waiting on that, I do have a question myself. As a fan of the art of seduction, I know we were kind of talking about early on in the conversation about getting the attention of your partner or your potential mate. And
is that why you wore your dashiki tonight?
I did. I had to.
He is looking good though.
Mine is the beard. I don't know. What y'all think? No beard or beard. I'm just saying.
Really? Where's my sign? I don't know what my sign is. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
That's right. That's right. But what you said in the last in your last discussion about the saliva and talking about testosterone and how it lets you know if you're interested in your partner or not. That's the second part of the art of seduction is an AIM model, AIM, attention, interest, and then maintenance. And so I was just like, wow, he just basically broke down how people are, they will know how they're interested in someone based on a kiss. And I don't know if you could break down and talk to us a little bit again about that kiss.
Hold on.
And the saliva. Yeah, what's up?
So I know you said before when a woman and a man kisses, there's a transference of testosterone. So what happens when two women kiss? Is there a transfer of estrogen, or is there still testosterone that's still
Oh, yeah,
flowing in all the
absolutely.
ways?
So check this out. So okay, so men, we have testosterone levels. Now this depends on what research article you might read, but it's pretty much the same, right? So what I'm going to quote is the one that's pretty much what you may hear often. The male's testosterone level is between 150 to 300 deciliters. Woman is between 30 to 70 nanograms per deciliter. So when two women are together, and this is also why we need, even when a male is with a woman, we need your testosterone too as well. We need that 70 that you have. It's important that you contribute the 70 with my testosterone level as well. So when two women are kissing, they also have testosterone. So it's not just the estrogen that they have that they're giving to each other, but one may have a higher level than the other. So one may have 15, one may have 30. Your partner may have 55 to 70. So what's happening now, the 70 is giving her testosterone as well. And because it worked, again, every time I mention something, we all have those same genes. You know, when you hear people talk about oxytocin a lot.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But we think men don't have oxytocin, but we do. We have oxytocin too. So everything that I talk about, we both have, right? But the thing is that one may have the level higher because you're a woman. One may have the level higher because you're a man, right? So like with testosterone, when men get older, their testosterone levels go lower, right? But guess what comes up?
What?
The estrogen.
The estrogen.
That's why they be growing breasts.
And when the estrogen goes up, check this out. This is how some women go. You realize, and I have to say to myself as well, the older I've gotten, the more sensitive I am when I'm watching movies, when I'm watching something, and I'm like, oh, my wife is like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna cry. But that's just,
So I have a question, and I know we got another question on here.
Yeah.
But in light of yesterday being International Kissing Day, and in light of some of my listen, I barely got it on before 12 o'clock. I barely got it posted on social media. I just moved, so I was like doing all kinds of other stuff. But anywho, some of my sexpert colleagues were saying that obviously an orgasm can happen just from kissing. What is the amount of testosterone, oxytocin, and all the other chemicals that has to be released in order for that to occur?
Yeah, well, see, we're talking about a cluster as well. So when the testosterone kicks in, we're not talking about just the testosterone. We're also talking about phenylethylamine. We're talking about vasopressin. We're talking about serotonin. We're talking about other cluster of drugs that are happening at the same time along with dopamine, right? So all of these drugs have kicked in, and that testosterone kicks in, makes it even more stronger, right? Potent, because you got these other drugs feeding into the testosterone. And that's how, and you know, when we talk about orgasms, it doesn't have to be just an orgasm to receive testosterone. I mean, we can do that just over the telephone. We could talk just over the phone.
I did it pumping gas one time. I ain't gonna even lie.
Wait, what did you just say?
What did you just say?
Why you all up in my business?
You can't. No, you got to rewind that back. Hold up.
I said I had one time pumping gas. If you get just like the right angle and you really got control of everything, absolutely.
I went way left with that. Okay,
I
gotcha.
sure that you're pumping gas.
What did you hear?
That's for the after show.
Right.
Okay, I have to ask this.
But
Kissing.
But did we answer your question, man?
Yes, it does. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
I forgot my question. As far as with kissing, can kissing save your relationship?
No,
because of all the chemicals and everything. Like I always tell my couples, they need to ground each other. They need to touch. Should I recommend kissing more?
You should recommend kissing, but if that's if there's other problems too as well, I mean that's why we go to therapy to find out, right? But if there's other things,
toothbrush.
it could be as simple as that. But yes, kissing, because we especially as men, and just biology, we know that we can get the woman through kissing. We're not even mindful. That's why we want to kiss, so we can get you, right? But we're not that mindful of it. We're not mindful of knowing that, through kissing, what I'm giving you, right? But what happens is we both stop kissing when we get married, right? And we do need kissing. We need that still in the marriage. That's part of the novelty too, right? Absolutely. We still need that. Not even just to receive these chemicals, but think about it. What does kissing do? Kissing also makes you what? Lubricated, right?
If they're a good kisser.
If they're a good kisser, because it's all in the pituitary gland, right? And so it's going to trigger your ovaries and your vagina, right? So kissing is so important that it lubricates, and we're not talking about rough sex. We're talking about good sex, because a lot of us have rough sex and we don't really realize it because she's not ready. Because us men, we have to have the patience to give her that kiss, because the body needs the kiss. The body needs your testosterone to go into her, to go into the ventral tegmental area of the brain, the caudate nucleus, the nucleus accumbens, the pleasure center part of the brain, that's going to make you aroused, right? And so when you are aroused, this is what's going to make you lubricated. And that's why it's so important for the vaginal canal to get lubricated. And then not only the vaginal canal, this is so important, not only the vaginal canal, but also so the cervix can push the uterus back. So just in case it's 5 to 10 inches, the 10 inches isn't hitting the uterus, the cervix. So you know how women say, oh man, he was so big or he was so long, I can feel him in my stomach. Mm-hmm. Right?
True story.
Right. But what you're really feeling in your stomach is your uterus.
Oh no.
It's your uterus hitting your stomach, right? Your uterus. This is your uterus, this is your cervix, this is your vaginal canal, right? This is the vagina, right? So the vagina is the penis is going in, it's hitting the cervix, right? This is your uterus, right? Mm-hmm. And this is your ovaries, right? So if the person is long and he's in and you still see some left and he's hitting, that's how some women end up damaging the vagina, the vaginal canal, because a guy is too big. Mm-hmm. And this particular guy isn't mature enough to make love to her, knowing that you have a big penis, but yet we're taught to hurt you so we can hear you scream and
Oh
hear you
no.
holler. So we think that that's, you know, that's a man thing. I made her, you know, I had her climbing the wall, you know, but actually,
Say it again.
really
How you
pain.
I
said
was about to say, you gotta repeat
You
that,
know,
sir.
you
You
know,
gotta
I had
repeat that, Dr. Sims.
you know, hey,
You gotta repeat that.
you know, hey, you know, but you really want to be, you want to be nice, you want to be gentle, you know, especially when you know you're packing, you don't want to damage her, you know, until she says harder. Until she says harder. If she says harder, she knows her limit, because when you give it to her harder, if you give it to her too hard, she's gonna put her hands under you and try to stop you from doing it too hard. And so we have to be mindful with body language. We have to be mindful when she's grabbing you, when she's touching you, because she's saying, okay, that's too much, you know. And then you have to know to come off of it and then give it to her in a nice, gentle way until she says again, what?
Harder.
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 Gotta give that consent to go forward with it. So,
George,
I
you
mean,
listening to all this? Are you listening to this Black Thought? This is for you.
This is for
listen,
you, sir.
listen,
Don't be around here trying to rearrange people's cervix.
listen,
People's cervix and uteruses.
listen. I'm not a horse, but you know, I got good enough to where I can make it happen. But also,
I saw you doing.
yeah. But it's all about respect, though, right? Like,
Absolutely.
if you're going into your partner, I mean, at least give her or him that common decency to experience pleasure. You in there just rocking and rolling just because of you, that's not cool, man. Like, just go ahead and make sure that we can do this for the both of us, so we can make sure that we both enjoy this experience.
That's absolutely that we're having that we're enjoying it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's very well. I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Sims. That's a huge thing in the male culture. You know, just like you said, just we want to hear her scream. We want to make sure that she's beating on the walls. But you know, at some point, it's kind of abuse. You know what I mean? Like, you got to make sure. You got to make sure and talk to her, ask the necessary questions: what she likes, what she doesn't, how much you gonna give to her.
Yes. Yes.
And you have to have that pleasure conversations about inches to
have
angles.
that pleasure conversation.
Angles to inches. You got to understand what you can take, what angles, and how much you're gonna give her.
Dude, you got, you know, sometimes I tell
You got to be
couples,
a mathematician in this piece.
sometimes I tell couples, when you're having sex, tonight we're not having sex for an orgasm. Tonight we're having sex to explore.
Absolutely.
We're having sex tonight to explore. We're trying to figure out, we're trying to see what you like. We're trying to see what you don't like. And see, that's what it's, and it's not just physical too. Remember, it's not just the physical thing. It's also the things that you guys talked about when you first got together, what you like.
Yeah.
You know, if you like watching porn and you know, before you, if you like doing such as, if you like doing this, you got to make sure that you're keeping up with the Jones for each other. You making sure that you continue pleasing your partner, and you can't take away what your partner likes. That's one of the things. You can't do that. You can't take away what your partner likes. You destroy the relationship that way.
Yeah.
You know what your partner liked when you got together, right?
Absolutely.
You know what your partner liked when you said I do, right? And then you try to take it away from them.
Amazingly, though, a lot of people don't know. And at least this is my experience in a lot of the couples that I see. A lot of people never have the conversation, let alone the pleasure conversation.
That's right.
There was never any discussion about what the sexual expectations were going to be in the relationship, or they weren't open and honest with their kinks or their fetishes or what they do like, because they were fearful that the person that they were stepping into this covenant with wasn't going to be with it. So therefore, they do what they do, Renelle. They go find somebody that will be open and willing to do those things while they can still keep this
and still keep that, because they're not saying they don't love them, right? They're not saying
they don't love the way you do X, Y, and Z.
They're saying you don't want to do X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to find somebody who's going to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to keep my significant other, you know. And you're so right, though. Some people don't have that conversation. And it's so important. But you know, why do we, let's talk about this too, though. What is it about not having the conversation? Why is it that we don't have the conversation? Because of some of our assumption and our upbringing.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't have got you a good wholesome church girl.
Because of our upbringing.
Knowing you want you a Megan Thee Stallion.
That's right. Because we say
the church girl can't be Megan Thee Stallion. I'm not saying that either.
We don't want to talk about that. We say, you know, no, we shouldn't be talking about that. That's nasty. Oh, that's gross. You know. And I mean, back in the day, remember? You remember this? Back in the day, people used to say, a freak is a white girl. They should say, man, you need to get you a white girl. White girls are freaky. They freaky. So it's like, well, wait a minute. What is in the sex book that a white girl could do that a black girl can't do and not doing? What is it that they're not doing? We do everything the same. Yes. We do the exact same thing, if not more, than any other person, any other nationality on this earth. But we used to say, oh yeah, she's freaky, you know, and so we don't conversate. That's what we assume, like you said, right? Right now you said assumption. So we assume that you don't have oral sex. Black women don't have oral sex. That's what back in the day people used to think, you know. I mean, when I was young, I used to hear older guys, that was their freakiness, that white women gave head and black women didn't.
Yeah. I mean, coming up, that's what it was. It's if you wanted some head, it was white women and black women weren't doing that. But you know, my sisters are now liberated. I'm loving the fact that they can claim their own sexuality, and you know, we're not singing that same song anymore. Right. But you're so right. Why is it that white women were liberated to do what they wanted to do?
Well, because they had the freedom of doing. I mean, once they broke that chain. Okay, you know, I talk about this. I tour about the birth control pills and all of that. So once the birth control pill kicked in, that was liberation. I mean, am I saying that right? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Birth control in the automobile. Absolutely.
Yeah,
those two things revolutionized.
Everything exploded. Women didn't have to, and then women could work, right? And it was like the freedom. It was like, woo, we could do stuff now, you know. Yeah. Let's have a ball. Let's do our thing, you know. Yeah. And look, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying that you have to come out of your belief, your religious belief. You know, if that's your thing, that's your thing, you know. But I'm saying some things isn't said by God. Some things is said by man. And that's what we have to be careful about. And this is the thing that I have to talk to my preacher friends. You know, I have a lot of friends who are ministers and a lot of cousins who are ministers. And it's like, look, you know, you can't tell them, don't tell them don't do something that God is not saying. Because then that's just coming from man. Mm-hmm. And just like how we tell women not to pursue the things that you do that's naturally pursuing a man, we tell you to suppress it. Right? We tell you, no, don't look at a guy. Right? Don't show the guy that you're interested. Especially, you know, in grammar school. Girl, don't look at him. Right? Girl, don't look. Don't let him know. Right? What's the term? Playing hard to get. Right? Mm-hmm. But then when you become an adult, there's no women to tell these new women, girl, you better stop playing hard to get. It's about, if a man is interested in you, go for it.
You're going to miss your blessing, girl.
Well, you're going to miss your blessing. That's right. So there's nobody telling her that when she becomes a woman, because she's so used to doing it from high school, right? We all know that. You don't look at the guy in high school. Don't let him know. Don't let him know you're interested, right? So the guy is going to be like, okay, well, then I'm gonna move on.
But don't we put too much assumption out? Every time I talk and then I do therapy and I'm on podcasts, I always put it in the perspective that we put too much on men. Just as I'm talking to you, and just like even with their brain size and everything, I know some men who are not pursuers, and they are just kind of scared of women, you know, just do the different things. And
Rejection.
how can we normalize this conversation to make it seem like, even if, and I think we are doing a good job, but some men are pursuers and some are not, even though they had a capacity to be, some are just not. Some are just not. I mean, they can be the biggest, baddest man there is, but it's something about that they are pursued more.
Yeah, even though you've heard of the walk of shame, right?
Mhm.
You know, some of that, you know, there's various reasons. Some could be to the walk of shame. And I know, you know, I'm from Chicago. We, you know, had house parties. You definitely will be seen walking over to another woman to ask her to dance. And when she says no, you got to walk all the way back in shame, right? So sometimes we're also conditioned to be afraid to come on to you as well, right? Because we don't want the rejection, we don't want the hurt. There's a part of our brain, our ACC, interior singular cortex. That part of the brain is the same. It's associated with the same part of the brain when it comes to physical pain. It's the same part of the brain when it comes to emotional pain, right? So sometimes we are afraid of that pain. So when we experience that pain when we were younger, we hold on to it, becomes like a post-traumatic stress disorder. So we're afraid now. We don't come on to you. We don't come on to women. Make sense?
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
I know guys, I've met guys, I've known guys in the past who would only pursue women that they knew they could get, or that they had been given some sort of sign or signal or body language. But otherwise, it could be the finest thing over there. But because of their own insecurities and because of how they feel, I guess, about themselves or their own self-esteem, they won't step to a certain type or caliber of woman.
Yeah.
Right. But they would step to someone who they feel is, I guess, a less caliber of woman in their mind. Like, you know, 0 to 10, they might be like 5 versus the 9 that they really wanted to go pursue, or that the woman has given them some sort of sign or body language that they're interested in, then they will go pursue.
Now let's talk about complexion too as well. When it came to us men, complexion mattered too. Complexion caused us to have a post-traumatic stress disorder. Complexion had us caused us to have a stress as well, because the society, and we know this period, just when it comes to slavery, when it comes to the house nigga and the field nigga, right? You know, now there's been many research, there's been many studies that when you know you're a 10, you're going to treat a 4, 5, and 6 differently. You're going to even treat your friends differently because you know you're a 10, right? You may really dog out your friends. There's a lot of people who have been friends with a 10 and you're a 6, but you can notice, and you probably have noticed this before. You probably notice how the 10 treats her best friend, which is a 6. Because she knows she's a 10, right? You probably see how, you know, like, man, you look how she talks to her. Look how she dogs her out. Look how she, you know, leaves her or whatever. Don't want her to come with the other people or something, right? You know. So also men have experienced, and this is in, you know, white or black caliber. We've experienced that 10 light-skinned girl. She knew back in the day, that light-skinned girl, she knew that when she walks in the room, because this is not me saying it, this is a study. This is a scientific study. When she walks in the room, she knows she's the light-skinned girl. She's going to get more attention than any girl in that room. Because we were more attracted to, or we were sold through commercials, through advertisement, that light-skinned girls was the girls either white or light, right? And a bright light-skinned girl knew she can get more attention than any girl that was there, right? Now, I'm not, you know, please don't be offended to the light-skinned girls who are probably watching this. I'm just talking about history, right? I'm just talking about the fact. You know, there's videos out, I mean, there's movies out there, documentaries out there right now talking about what I'm talking about.
Not
That's
that
a
it's
whole
true,
90
but
video.
that's just how the experience has gone over time.
That's just the experience. So men would be afraid. Men would say, she's beautiful, but she's light skinned, and I probably wouldn't have a chance.
Mm.
I probably wouldn't have a chance. So we don't pursue her. But I heard a light skinned girl one time on Tony Brown's show. And
how long ago was this? Because I don't even know who Tony Brown is.
yeah, this was a long time ago. Okay, Chastity.
She put you out there, Dr. Sam.
I'm 36.
I'm like,
I just made.
was he before or after Arsenio Hall? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it was before. I was young though. I was young when I saw it.
On the Phil Donahue show.
I was young.
I mean, I'm the baby of the show, so I didn't know.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
But what was amazing is the light skinned girl. She was on the show and she was crying because she was saying, "But I'm not that girl. I'm lonely." She's like, "I'm lonely, and I know how men think that because I'm light skinned that I'm going to go off on him, or I'm not going to be interested in him because I'm light skinned. I want the football player. I want the rich guy. I want the guy who has it all. And I'm not going to talk to you." And she was like, "I'm not that girl." She said, "And I have other girlfriends that's light skinned like me too, that I just wish a brother would just come up to me and talk to me, you know." But that's because we were sold that. You know, that's something that was sold to us. You know, when we watched the commercial advertisement, it was always a white girl selling us a car. It was always a white girl in the magazine selling us something, you know. So that conditioned us black men, and we're like, hey, if we don't have a light-skinned girl or a white girl, we don't have a girl at all.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm glad that changed.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Dr. Catherine Jackson has a question. She says, "Do you feel the color issues are changing or is changing?"
Yeah, I think now.
You know, Tupac was like the black of the berry.
Yeah, I think it is changing. I really do think it is changing. I think brothers are now, you know, looking at sisters. I mean, you know, to each his own. If you want a white woman, that's your thing. But not wanting, you know, this is my thing, not wanting a white woman or not wanting a white man because you assume something better than your own. You understand what I'm saying? Am I being correct with that? Am I explaining that in a good way? You're not trying to date a white woman because you're putting down everything that you have to say about a black woman is negative.
Right.
Or did you meet this white woman and truly fell in love with her mind, truly fell in love with because you feel like she's beautiful? Are you with this white man because you truly love him? He's a good guy, right? He's cool, but not that everything about a black man is negative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like we're conditioned to like think that that's why. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Or you hate yourself if you do X, Y, and Z. So it's like all these societal myths that make absolutely no sense, but so many people really operate and maneuver their whole life around this.
Yeah.
For fear of what somebody else is going to say or somebody else is going to think. So therefore they stay married, involved, or single, and not really pursuing what they really want or what and who they're attracted to, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
Got any more questions that we want to answer before we wrap up?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Catherine Jackson, Dr. DJ.
That is it. And so it looks like we can go ahead and close out. Dr. Sims, do you have any, are you on any other social media? Do you have any other social media handles or anything that you'd like to give to the audience verbally?
No. I mean, just look me up and, you know, Facebook, Instagram. I'm actually, don't laugh, y'all. I'm actually starting to use Instagram now. I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. Yeah. But hey, I just want to thank you guys so much, and I hope I help someone so far. I hope I
I just want to say one thing. I think it was very important. A lot of things, really everything that you said, but I really thought it was important. The numbers of things that you said for men, and for those for the stereotypes, the isms, the expectations, the scripts that men deal with that have us to beat our chest. I really feel like what you said was very humbling, and men should definitely learn to listen to that and to inject that in their personal lives to have a better sexual situation, to hopefully meet someone and not worry about all that background noise that can deter them from getting whoever they want to get in life. And so I just want to say thank you for that, and I feel like it was very important, and people should definitely listen to that.
I love when you come on because I love you give me the meat. You give me the why. You give me the why. I love the scientific facts. I really like when you tell me about the brain, because especially when the normalized brain, but then when they experience trauma. When you talk about hypervigilant, I get excited because people don't understand trauma can change your whole reason why you move. Because trauma is so severe, it changes your whole chemical makeup. So when you talk about that, I think so many people try to fight with themselves and think they should just know and they can just talk it through, but it's deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. And I always thank you because you let people know that this is something deep that they need to heal from and to understand it's bigger than them. It's in their chemical makeup. Always a thank you. Always a pleasure to talk to.
Yes, absolutely. I see Dr. Catherine. She's on too. She's also in neuroscience too, and she deals with trauma too as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Catherine, I'm gonna inbox you. Maybe we'll bring you on one time. Let's come up with a show title, and we'd love to have you on the briefcase. How about that?
That's about trauma. We don't talk about it.
She's pretty good. She's really good. She can talk about relationships and stuff too.
Oh, let's get into it. Let's do it.
Yeah. But I think it's so important, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And what you said, both of you guys, all three of you guys, I really appreciate it. I'm so passionate about it. Please let me come on again and again and again, because
you can be the resident and just set up shit.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you said that. So it's really important we let our people know we are literally starting or have already started, and we'll begin to invite people over to the briefcase, the group. We love dropping these nuggets. We love bringing on these guests and having these great shows live on our page. But some things are meant for a little bit more seclusion and privacy. And so we really want to be able to dig a little bit deeper in the conversation. So by next week, we'll be inviting you over to the briefcase, the group, because that's where you have to go to get those deep conversations in the tea. Don't worry about it, Dr. Rayo. We're going to bring you back for sure. And then I'm going to hit up Dr. Catherine. We're going to bring her back. So we just want to let you know the briefcase is where you come to get educate, engage, what's the other E? Educate, engage,
and excitement. Shit, I don't know. I won't talk about it.
It's 9:12. It's my bedtime. We're just gonna say excitement.
No, we're gonna get it right. Educate, empower, and engage. Right. So this is where you come to handle your business. Right. Yeah. So that's it for tonight, y'all. We'll holler at you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
All right. We gotta get